33 years old, dead. But in those 33 years, he conquered the world, from Greece to Egypt, from Persia to the edges of the known earth, all the way to the doorstep of India. And in every single battle he ever fought, he won, not once, not twice, not a lucky streak, every single time. His name was Alexandros III of Macedon. The world would call him something far simpler and far more terrifying, Alexander the Great. Today, we answer one of the most haunting questions in military history. How does a man fight dozens of major battles across 3 continents, against overwhelming odds, against seasoned commanders, against empires that had stood for centuries, and never lose, not even once? The answer will change how you think about war, leadership, and genius. Because Alexander didn't win with luck, he won with a system. Philip II of Macedon was not a king. He was an architect. He built an army unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. The Macedonian phalanx, rows of soldiers 8 to 16 men deep, shields locked, helmets down, a wall of iron moving forward as one. Each man carried the sarissa, an 18-foot pike that extended far beyond any enemy's sword, spear, or reach. The front lines were impenetrable. The enemy couldn't even get close enough to strike, but Alexander did not inherit a machine alone. He brought something his father never had, a mind trained by Aristotle himself. Philosophy, logic, medicine, ethics, strategy, natural science. By age 20, Alexander had studied more military theory than most generals would learn in a lifetime of actual fighting. He slept with a copy of the Iliad and a dagger under his pillow every single night. He didn't just want to win battles. He wanted to become the kind of man that history never forgets. And he succeeded. Every general in the ancient world fought the same way. You line up your men, you push forward, you bleed. The side with more men, or more courage, usually won. Alexander looked at that tradition and threw it away. His signature weapon, the companion cavalry charge. He would personally lead the elite horsemen, the companions, in a diagonal oblique strike aimed at the enemy's command structure. Not the center, not the flank, the hinge. The exact point where 2 enemy formations meet. Their weakest seam. That single point of catastrophic, irreversible vulnerability. While the phalanx held the front like a locked door, Alexander hammered the hinge with everything he had. The hammer and the anvil, simple in theory, brutally, magnificently effective in practice. Nearly impossible to execute in real battle, unless you are personally leading the charge, which Alexander always was. In 334 BC. Alexander crosses into Persian territory for the first time. The Persian satraps laugh. He is 22 years old. They position their cavalry on the far bank of the Granicus River, a natural barrier, a perfect defensive line. Every rational commander would stop, scout, wait for morning, regroup. Alexander charges directly into the river, through the current, through the arrows raining down from the bank, uphill. into the cavalry waiting on the other side. 2 Persian nobles nearly kill him that day. A sword splits his helmet. He survives by inches, and he wins decisively. Because the Persians never expected the attack, no one would dare. Personal presence on the front line. Not accidents, not luck, the system. Alexander understood something most commanders never learn. Momentum is a weapon, and he wielded it better than anyone alive. 333 BC. Darius III, the great king of Persia, has had enough. He commands a force the ancient sources describe as 500,000 men. Alexander has fewer than 40,000. Darius chooses a narrow coastal plain at Hydaspes. Brilliant terrain selection. The narrow ground should neutralize Alexander's cavalry advantage. It limits Alexander's room to maneuver, forces a frontal clash, a numbers game. Darius is right about the terrain. He is catastrophically wrong about Alexander. Alexander sees the narrow ground and smiles. His phalanx locks the Persian infantry in place, a door they cannot open. Then, Alexander rides around the flank personally, not toward the army, not toward the flank, toward Darius himself, the king, the command, the mind behind the army. Darius sees Alexander coming. He makes a decision that ends the battle instantly. He flees. His army watches their king run, and they collapse. The most powerful empire on earth, broken, not by superior numbers, by superior psychology. 331 BC. Historians call this the greatest tactical achievement in human history. Darius has regrouped. He has chosen perfectly flat, open ground. He has war elephants, scythed chariots, an army. The ancient sources claim numbers over 1 million. Alexander has 47,000 men. He lets the Persian line advance toward him. Then he drifts right, slowly, deliberately, pulling the Persian left flank with him, stretching it, thinning it. The Persian cavalry follows. Darius orders them to follow. And then, in the chaos of a battlefield involving hundreds of thousands of men, a gap opens in the Persian center. A gap no ordinary general would even notice. Alexander sees it. He points. He charges. The companion cavalry punches through the gap like a blade through silk, straight toward Darius again. Darius flees again, and the Persian Empire, 200 years of history, dies in an afternoon. This is what made Alexander undefeated, not strength, not numbers, not fortune, a system, trained from childhood, refined in every battle, hammer the anvil, target the command, lead from the front, create shock before the first sword swings. He didn't just fight wars, he solved them. Like a mathematician solving equations, except the variables bled. 33 years, 0 defeats, not once, not even close. Alexander the Great, the name the world gave him, was the only one that fit.